Good evening. It is Wednesday, September 1st, 2021, and coming to you live from the Lonely Tree Media Studios in Yakima, Washington. This is the Best Lamm Sports Show. I'm your host, David Lamm. With me is my son, Parker. Say hello, Parker.
Hello, Parker.
Gotta get the crowd noise. That's the problem, is our studio audience.
No, I'm not going.
Apparently late arriving.
Silent today. Oh, there they are.
They're late arriving. So.
Well, no, it was the guys who hold up the applause sign. They were sleeping on the job.
I think, technical glitch here in the studio. That happened.
We give them the point, and then they're supposed to hold up the sign, but they were looking distracted.
When you have this many people in the studio audience, it's hard to. I mean, they take their cues. They're doing well, but I mean, they just
definitely not COVID compliant in our studio. 6 feet? I don't think so.
We are. If you've ever been in the Lonely Tree Media Studios, you know you can't get 6 feet away from anything. We are live streaming on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Lamm Sports, on Facebook under the Best Lamm Sports Show, and you can send us an email, lammsports@gmail.com. Please check out our webpage, lammsports.com. It's www.lammsports.com in case you guys, need the whole thing. You can find links to the past shows and the current trivia question on the website. You can leave us a message. You can join the mailing list. When a new episode gets posted, you get a little email. It's pretty exciting. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff you can do on there. You should visit. If you haven't already, you should visit. First segment of the show, presented by The Range in Yakima. I gotta have the right slide. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
There it is.
There it is. The first segment of the show is brought to you by The Range in Yakima. The Range is Central Washington's premier indoor shooting destination at 34,000 square feet. The Range is an all-inclusive facility offering firearm training, retail sales and supplies, full gunsmithing and repairs, custom builds, and Cerakote services. It's all under one. I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's all under one roof. Yeah, you know that. Just say it. Just finish it for me. It's all under one roof at The Range. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 7, Sunday 11 to 5. Go see our friends at The Range, 1701 Garrettson Lane in Yakima. Phone number is 509-571-1449. Make sure you mention the Best Lamm Sports Show. The Range, educate, equip, and empower. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about the NFL wrapping up its preseason. They got player cuts that happened. Not as dramatic as I thought they would be, but we'll talk about them. College football's underway last weekend. And playing tonight. Playing tonight, if you're not watching UAB and Jacksonville State, you're not missing anything.
Deion Sanders getting prime time, huh?
Right? I mean, didn't take long, right?
Yeah.
Formula One almost had a race on Sunday in Belgium. Almost.
It only counts in horse grenades.
It only counts in horse grenades. I like that. First thing we're going to talk about is the Little League World Series, which we have a winner of.
Good.
Yeah, on Sunday, the Great Lakes Region champion, Michigan, beat the Great Lakes Region runner-up, Ohio. So I don't know why anybody else showed up. They beat him 5-2 to become the second team from Michigan to win the Little League World Series title. Two storylines in this tournament, and that was Texas's Ella Bruning. She became the 20th girl to play in the tournament. She played catcher. And they had a nickname for that team was Ella and the Fellas, which I'm not sure how the fellas feel about that, by the way.
That's clever.
But it is, right? And then Gavin Weir of South Dakota, who was dominant on the pitching mound. He threw 11 2/3 innings. He threw a complete game, 6-inning no-hitter, and a 5 2/3 inning no-hitter. He gave up 0 hits, struck out 29 batters of the 38 he faced. He was unbelievable. Only 6 batters actually put the ball in play against him.
Dang.
But since he can't pitch every day, guess what? They finished 4th. So made it rough. Yeah, I mean, he was dominant. Just dominant. Just looked like a man among boys. Although he just looked like a taller boy.
I'd say a boy amongst boys.
A bigger boy amongst boys.
A larger boy.
Right?
Amongst boys.
I mean, yeah. So that brings us, the Little League World Series is going to take us right to the trivia question. Are you ready?
Okay.
Because the Stave and Stone trivia question is about the Little League World Series. I know you're excited. And
I'm beyond excited. Let's hear it.
Here it is. Little League World Series has been played every year since 1947, except for 2020, last year when it was canceled.
Right.
There have been 14 U.S. states that have won a Little League World Series title. There have been teams from 14 different U.S. states. Only 5 of those states lie west of the Mississippi River. Can you name all 5?
That lie west of the Mississippi. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah, okay.
And I know the answer.
You do? Oh, well, there you go. All right. Well, we're going to give out the answer at the end. I am excited to hear this now. We will get the answer at the end of the show. I'll give out the answer. Well, we'll get Parker's answer at the end of the show because that's what we're here for. All right, you ready?
I got the answer, yeah.
Because you got the answer.
Yeah.
College football. This didn't go right. That's glitch number 1. Right there. College football started on Saturday, if you weren't paying attention. Kicking off with Nebraska and Illinois in a Big Ten matchup right off the bat at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Nebraska coach Scott Frost, we may have mentioned it, he's on the hot seat this year probably because his team he's 12-21. He was 12-20 coming into this game as the Nebraska head coach. He's now 12-21 because they fell to Illinois 30-22. Not helping things for sure. But Illinois looks like a decent football team. Neither team looked great.
No, they were both a little lackluster.
These are kind of middle bottom Big Ten teams, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was not as much fun to watch as it probably could have been. But it was entertaining at the end. Nebraska came back a little bit, tried to make it close, but it's a common Nebraska theme of making a lot of errors and losing football games. I expect Scott Frost will make somebody a great offensive coordinator.
That's fair.
Next year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely going to step it up for somebody else.
I'm hoping that's probably true. For his sake, it needs to be. We also see all these got clipped the wrong way. All these things did not.
What in the heck is happening?
I don't know. UCLA also played. They beat Hawaii on Saturday at the Rose Bowl, 44-10.
Yeah.
And I don't know off the top of my head know how to pronounce this guy's last name. Zach Charbonnet. I'm going to go with Charbonnet. He ran for 106 yards on just 3 carries, by the way. Wait, it's not right. It's 6 carries. Scoring 3 touchdowns.
That was about to be the most impressive stat I've ever heard.
Still, on 6 carries, it's what? 16 yards carry? 17, 18?
Well, my man D'Anthony Thomas accomplished that feat no more than a couple years ago. 2 carries, 130-something yards.
He scored 3 touchdowns, and UCLA raced out to a 24-3 lead. They never looked back. UCLA plays number 16 LSU in Pasadena on Saturday. Actual SEC team leaving the SEC to go play a football game. Who'd have thunk it?
That's the craziest thing. Doesn't make any sense.
All the experts are saying this might be Chip's best opportunity. And Chip's on the hot seat, too.
Yeah, I don't know why. He's only been there 2 years and then a COVID year. Count it if you want. I don't.
Yeah,
he really should get a little more time. But also, I like Chip, so I could be biased.
You could be. Anyway, that game is at 5:30 p.m. Saturday on Fox if you want to watch it. Fresno State also played on Saturday against UConn. Pretty easy first game. They rolled to a 45-0 shutout. Fresno State did. UConn had just 107 total yards of offense. They are 9-39 since 2016, and they did not play last year. UConn opted out, didn't play any games because they're independent, and they can do that. But anyway, so why is any of this important? It's because Fresno plays Oregon on Saturday at 11 a.m. to open up the Ducks' 2021 season. Oregon is 7-2 all time against Fresno State, and they've won the last 7. So 7-game winning streak. Last meeting was
so they were 0-2 at one point against Fresno State, and things were not looking good.
Yeah, but it was like a long time. Those first games were like they played 2 games like in 1980 and 81, right? And then they played a bunch since then. But yeah, they're 7-2 all time. They've won the last 7. The last meeting was 2012, and Oregon won 42-25. It's a good test to start with. Because Fresno State's not a bad football team. This is not, they're not. It's not like playing Alabama, but it is definitely a good early season first game test and a good chance to work out the jitters against a pretty good team. So, I think Fresno State's good enough to be in the Pac-12 and do well. I do.
I think so. I think that they're one of those teams that is constantly kicking butt in the conference that they're in, and they might step into the Pac-12 and be able to handle the Cals and Colorados and teams that are struggling. And then through that gain recruiting, I mean, they're in California, they're a hotbed of recruiting to begin with, so
Yeah.
they should be good.
Yeah, and then so there's a whole bunch of games happening this weekend of note, and which I don't know which game you're the most excited to see this weekend, but there's that Georgia Clemson game, number 5
Yeah.
Georgia, number 3 Clemson. It's in Charlotte,
Yeah.
Saturday at 4:30 on ABC. If you watch that, you probably can't watch the 5:30 UCLA LSU game. But I'm just saying, they're on at about the same time, unless you got picture-in-picture, channel surfing or whatever it is you got. The ESPN, what's it called? College football, is it Red Zone? No, that's
Yeah,
NFL
or
Red Zone. What's it?
Goal Line.
Goal Line. Yes, that's the college's
It's
goal
called
line.
ESPN's Goal Line, and can you believe that they show most of the SEC stuff?
No.
What are the odds?
I know. Penn State, number 19 Penn State, plays at number 12 Wisconsin, Saturday, 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 Alabama at number 14 Miami in Atlanta at 12:30 on ABC.
Yeah.
Number 17 Indiana, number 18 Iowa, Saturday at 12:30 on the Big Ten Network if you get it. There's that Louisiana-Texas game that's Saturday at 1:30 on Fox. That might be good.
Yeah, nobody cares about the rating games.
It might be good, though. It might be fun to see if Texas loses, drops one to a team that everyone would think they should beat. And for some reason, Texas is getting a lot of love, even though they're the number 21 team in the country.
That's because they said they're going to the SEC, so they're starting the hype train now.
It's Steve Sarkisian, and if they lose
But
that
they've
one,
gotten a lot of love for like the last 6 years, and it's been unnecessary every year.
if they lose that one, he'll probably need a drink. So
He'll probably be fired.
number 9 Notre Dame is at FSU on Sunday at 4:30 on ABC because there are no NFL games. And then Monday night at 5 o'clock on ESPN, Louisville at Ole Miss. And that might be the best
That's
game of the week.
that could be a good one.
That could be fun to watch if you like your.
Is that still Lane Kiffin?
Yeah, your fully vaccinated Ole Miss Rebels and Lane Kiffin.
That's incredible, by the way. I think it's a lie, but it's incredible. It's true.
I think you're probably right.
I think people are borrowing each other's vaccination cards and getting them photocopied.
They said they were fully vaccinated. He said they were fully vaccinated.
All you need is some good card stock, and you can make your own, I guess.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I have no reason not to believe Lane Kiffin. He said a lot of crazy things, but
yeah.
The
game I'm looking forward to the most is LSU UCLA, but the problem is, and this will tie into Happy Birthday Ryan, my brother, is that we're going to be at his damn dinner during the game.
with our phones out. I mean,
with our phones out, of course, not paying any attention to him. So we did him a disservice right off the bat because we scheduled it while we want to watch something.
I feel no. Hold on now. This was him that scheduled it, by the way. So
he should know better.
I feel like
look at the schedule. Don't make plans in the fall.
We could just eat in the bar with TVs and then be able to watch it.
It's true. It's true. It's like our cousin Amelia. Hi Amelia, if you're listening. Her birthday is early in September. She has a knack for having her birthday party on whatever the biggest game of the year is for Oregon. Yeah. Whatever it is, anyone.
You pick the best team that ever played against, and her birthday's that day.
There was like a couple of years ago where we didn't have a big preseason game, but her birthday got pushed back just enough to cover the Stanford game. And it was like, well, I guess I'm not attending your birthday party.
I'm gonna partly blame that on her mother. Thanks, Barb. So
Barb.
How dare you? I know, right? So what else have we got to talk about? Well,
yeah.
I said there was almost a Formula One race, and I meant it. They did approximately 3 laps behind a pace car. It was raining. It was pouring down rain in Spa, Belgium, at the track, and it was bad. The visibility was super poor, and I get it. They did about 3 laps behind a safety car, which doesn't mean anything. That's like formation laps where they would normally line up, but they couldn't. They decided to suspend the start, is what they termed it. And then later they abandoned the race. That's the terminology they use. Well, since they did these little warm-up laps, or started, quote-unquote, the process of starting the race, they awarded half points. So based on your current standings of how you qualified, you got half points. They assumed that's the order of finish. So if you qualified first, you're first. If you're second, you're second.
Preposterous.
And they gave them half points, which I agree. I think is a little stupid. I think they could have awarded them something, but not. I mean, half. You didn't even race anything. You didn't do anything. None of them actually raced a lap. You couldn't pass anybody. It was no actual racing involved. It was just a lot of water, and it was a crap ton of water. And I still don't understand why they didn't postpone it till Monday and run it. And they kept saying, "Oh well, we got another race on Sunday." Yeah, it's in the Netherlands. How far is it from Belgium to the Netherlands? Anybody? Not far.
Not far.
Not far. But they made it sound like it was.
Just drive your cars there.
They literally
will time you.
That's one race. They literally made it sound like it was a logistical nightmare to do that. To get
Oh my
if we
God,
run
how
this
are we
on
gonna get these
Monday,
vehicles over there?
how are we going to ever get to the Netherlands for another race next Sunday? Oh my goodness.
This is preposterous.
Yeah.
With our millions of dollars and our tons of our equipment trucks that haul our cars, how are we ever going to get it there in time?
You guys literally drive for a profession. There's I
Yeah.
don't know. I was a little disappointed in that. I thought they could have run it on Monday. Now, part of that is, all those fans paid tickets to be there on Sunday and probably didn't have Monday. You know what I mean? To just come back to the state. It's all about, some of it's about the fans, about the volunteers that help work at the track, right? Some of that's logistical. I get it, but it was still, I was just
Yeah.
So
Still aggravating.
Max Verstappen was the winner without racing a lap. George Russell of Williams Racing claimed his first ever podium, if you want to call it that. But I mean, he was second, qualified second, and Lewis Hamilton was third. So now Hamilton still has the overall points lead, but it was cut from 8 points to 3. So the lead between Hamilton over Verstappen is now 3 points. It's only the 6th time in F1 history that half points have been awarded, because you have to run at least 2 laps. So anyway, this Sunday, the 5th, is the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. So
Zandvoort.
it might be raining there too, for all we know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know what the weather forecast is in freaky deaky Dutchland. I'd have no idea. What's going to happen?
Dutchland.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's talk about Major League Baseball for a minute, because that's something we do.
Yeah. Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. We don't. Not a lot.
In between talking about Korean baseball leagues, we squeeze in a little MLB.
We do. We do. We find a way. So here's your current American League standings. I'm gonna make sure everyone can see that. This is the current American League standings. The Yankees are on fire. They were the hottest team for quite a while, and
They should be when you buy a team.
They've cooled off a little, in that Tampa Bay has won 9 straight, and they're still the best team. They have the best record in the American League, and they have the stranglehold kind of on that division. They're still 8 games up. They've played 132. So there's still about 30 games left to play. There's still time, but that's almost an insurmountable lead. But the Yankees have kind of solidified their spot as the wild card team.
Isn't that crazy? You're talking about a team that's just kicking ass. I'm sorry, and they're a wild card team.
Well, they started off terrible. They were bad.
I know, but it's a nuts thought process. That's like, oh yeah, they're really good, but they're just a wild card team.
If the playoffs started today, Tampa would be the number 1 division winner, and then Houston, followed by the White Sox, and then your 2 wild card teams would be the Yankees and the Red Sox, who are within a game of each other, just ahead of Oakland and Seattle. They're the only other teams that really have a chance, maybe Toronto, but have any kind of a chance to make a wild card push. That's hard to believe that we're talking about Seattle 133 games into the season, because by now they're
normally you're not.
Yeah, they're 20 games out. We have no idea. So,
normally by now you're like, well, they suck. So
yeah. Oh no, we suck again.
I listened to him last time on the radio. Hit a grand slam in the 4th with the bases loaded in a classic. Seattle. Oh yeah, this is an opportunity for you to strike out with the bases loaded and only 1 out. Yeah, but they hit a grand slam. They've done that twice this year. I watched one of them in the A's Seattle series a little while ago. It was incredible.
Yeah, I think
good ball.
And I think those 2 guys were. No, this was in the 8th inning. Somebody hit a grand slam in the 8th. It wasn't last night. It was the night before.
Oh, maybe it was 2 nights ago. Well, no, I was listening to it on the drive home last night.
Well,
so.
It was in the 8th inning. There was a home run a couple nights ago in the 8th inning, and those 2 players, the guy for Seattle that hit the home run and the pitcher for Houston, were traded for each other. So.
Oh, that's right. It was Graveman.
Yeah.
Because Graveman went from Seattle to the A's, A's to Seattle, and Seattle to Houston. All right, it was a whole thing. Because Graveman struck out a bunch of batters for the A's to close out that game at the series I was at.
Yeah, he hasn't left the division. That's kind of weird. You know what I mean? You play for all those teams, you haven't leave the division. That seems odd.
It just shows you that those GMs talk.
I think so. I don't know.
Those GMs are in cahoots.
But that's basically the American League, and Seattle still has a chance if you're a Seattle fan. This is the National League picture right now as you're looking at it. Atlanta is in first place in the NL East, although it's just 2.5 over Philly, and that division was kind of terrible, has been all year. Then there's Milwaukee, who's quietly, 81 and 52, winning 60% of their games. They're 10.5 games up on Cincinnati. They're going to win that division. And then you have that battle out west, San Francisco and the Dodgers in kind of a virtual dead heat. One of them is going to be a division winner. One of them is going to be a terribly difficult wild card team. And if they win the wild card, in whichever one finishes second will be the wild card team. San Diego or Cincinnati are your Philly and St. Louis. Sure, they could still make it, but it's down to kind of Cincinnati and San Diego. San Diego's been struggling; they're dropping off the chart. But baseball hasn't been interesting, and I don't. We're only got 30 games left, and I still don't think I'll get interested in it for another 10 or 15 games.
Right.
When it gets down to the wire and those games start to really, really matter.
Yeah.
But there is one thing I wanted to talk about, and it may have already been resolved, but we're going to talk about the New York Mets for just a minute. This is my baseball team, by the way.
Okay.
Who were in playoff contention until, they're not out of it right now, but they were in playoff contention until, they decided to get crappy. But they had a lot of injuries. And then the fans started giving some of the players the raspberry. What do you want to call it? They booed them, right?
They returned fire.
And the Mets players did. This is what happened.
Yeah.
The Mets players decided, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start giving everyone the thumbs down when we do something good.
Right.
Right? And
then that's fair, right? If you can boo when they do something bad, can they respond when they do something good?
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
It seems fair.
It does, but it also seems like a good way to alienate your fan base, especially if you're two players who just got on this team this year.
I feel like as long as you keep doing good things, more good things than bad things,
right,
you won't have to do that very long. But
yeah,
being fair, fans are very quick to boo,
they
especially
are.
in some of those more passionate fan bases, Boston, New York, Chicago. Those fans boo fast.
They do.
Like
Philly.
And it's you can say it's because they're educated baseball fans and they know what they're watching. They know they know a bonehead thing when they see it. But it's also just high emotion. Like, you got to chill a little bit.
I feel like baseball there's so much emotion so many times during the season, and like I said, we don't know nothing yet. We
really don't.
We really don't. I mean,
we really don't.
We only know that there's like a handful of teams that are out of playoff contention. 5 or 6 in each league, and that they're bad. But everybody else, you don't really know how good they are or how bad they are. I mean, yeah, okay, the Dodgers and the Giants, okay, they're good. And Tampa's good, right? I know these teams are really good. But everybody else kind of mishmash in the middle. I don't know. You could have told me that Atlanta wins the East. Okay. Philly, okay. The Mets, okay. If you'd have told me at the beginning of the season that Washington was going to win okay. I wouldn't know any better. They don't distinguish themselves from each other. Most of these teams are kind of mishmashed in the middle at 500 or just a little better. And it's not as much fun to watch until the end of the season when people start getting eliminated. And they're playing for their lives at that point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't appreciate the thumbs down thing. And apparently this has resolved itself somehow or other. They
internal resolve.
I guess I don't know if they apologized but I didn't see it as a great gesture. You know what I mean? You just play baseball. You don't really need to. Why are you gonna react to the fans? You don't. Do you do that? You didn't do that. You didn't do that at a visiting team's part when you're a visiting team. You didn't do that. You just did it to your own home fans. You don't even do that.
That's
to the rabid
the expectation. Like, could you imagine going home to your parents' house and have your parents heckle you? It's embarrassing, right?
Well, you'll find out.
Well, I mean, they make fun of you, right? But like, that's the point, though, is that there's a place where you should feel safe from fans. Away,
right,
you're going to get booed, you're going to get yelled at. I watched guys heckle outfielders constantly for 4 hours.
Right.
At home, you shouldn't have to deal with that.
Right.
That's kind of their logic behind it. Is like, look, I get this crap on the road. If I have to get it here, I'm going to lose my mind. So I get it. I'm actually with the idea of let's give it a little bit back to the fans, because as we've seen over the last 10 years or so, fans have gotten way too big for their britches in all sports. You got fans in basketball yelling out racial slurs and trying to fight players in college and things like that. Like, fans feel like they have way too much a right to be a part of the game. And I feel like a little player reaction isn't a bad thing. If anything, it gains some interest in the Mets.
I think it did. I think I think it's one of those topics that we need to have a bigger discussion on because I feel like as a fan, if I just shelled out the amount of money that it takes to go watch you play to get a good seat, right?
Yeah.
To come watch you play, I deserve some input.
Well,
I feel like I should be on the board of directors at that point because I spent a crap ton of money.
For the $600 a seat it is for an NFL game, yeah, you better let me decide what you're wearing today.
I am part owner now. I don't know. I just one of those things where I feel like and I don't mind the booing in stands. I think that's your right as a fan to come and boo, in a polite manner. You know what I mean? You don't need to yell things at players, derogatory things or anything that's you know what I'm talking about. But you have the absolute right to heckle a player if that's what you want to do. Just
it's part of the game. If you play stupid, if you do something stupid, you drop a fly ball, you're gonna get booed.
Yep.
All right, take it in stride and roll with it. However, fans, don't be so liberal with your boos.
Yeah.
Hold a few of those in. Wait for a real boneheaded moment.
Right.
Don't boo them just because you're down. Don't boo them just because the best hitter in the league cranked a homer off your pitcher. Don't boo that. Wait for a real moment to boo. After the 5th home run, give them the boo.
There are appropriate times to boo. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. People need to learn a little more tact, like when to and when not to boo. So maybe we should start an online course for fan etiquette.
Fan etiquette course. I like it.
That's right.
You know what? I think maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll start a segment on the show at some point in time and do it every so often and call it fan etiquette or fan I don't know, fan etiquette 101, where we'll just whatever and we'll give you some tips.
And we'll address a point like when you're getting food in line, pay, step to the right.
Yeah, move out.
Step to the right. Don't stand there and wait for your food.
Yeah.
There's an opening to the right for a reason. Step over there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in the bathroom. Don't stand right behind the guy in front of you, by the way.
Right.
Not right. Leave some space.
If you are waiting for a stall, direct traffic. Hey, I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah, let them know.
Pass them on through.
Yeah.
Don't just leave that weird animosity where somebody's looking at you, you're looking at them in the bathroom.
What are you doing?
Like, say something. I'm waiting for a stall. Sorry, man.
I mean, I don't really want to squeeze by you, but I have to, bro. So, I mean, anyway.
And if you open a stall door while somebody's in there, say sorry.
Sorry. You have to say sorry.
Oops. My bad. Sorry, man.
Yep. I mean,
and then step back out, and then don't make eye contact with me and leave.
And as a precursor to that, lock your dang stall door.
Lock your dang stall doors if they lock.
If they lock.
Those janky locks that are in the Moda, they barely work.
Which brings me back to paying a whole bunch of money for a ticket. The lock better lock. Is all I'm saying.
Cycle back around.
I'm just saying. I expect things to work a certain way.
Sure.
I hold it till the end anyway. I'm not going in that stall. Anyway, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. All right,
Not just you.
Let's talk about the Portland Timbers.
Yep.
They beat the Seattle Sounders 2-0 on Sunday. In Seattle, Sebastian Blanco scored in the 58th minute, and Felipe Mora added a late goal to seal it for the Timbers. Portland is 8-10-3 after 21 games. They have 27 points, which is 6th in the West. They'll make the playoffs at this rate because the top 8 make the playoffs. Despite the loss, Seattle's still in 1st in the West with a 12-4-6 record. They have 42 points. Portland plays the Houston Dynamo on Friday night. The Dynamo are winless in their last 15 matches, going 0-7-8 in that span, and I probably just jinxed the Timbers. But
yeah, no, definitely just jinxed them.
But Portland looked good. This is coming on the heels of the last Seattle game where they lost 6-2 at home.
Ugh.
Yeah, so better on the road here with a 2-0 win, but it's still the Timbers don't look great. They're capable of beating anybody at any given time. They just don't do it all the time. They don't play well every game, and it's a little frustrating to watch as a fan. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see what
it's just a team that's not living up to their expectations. Like you know what they're capable of. You watched them do it.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing it?
Right.
What's the deal? What's holding you back? Is it a coaching issue? Because I know you just fired your coach last year or a couple of years ago. Like what's going on here? So
right. So speaking of that, here's the MLS standings currently. This is your Eastern Conference right here. New England, they're at 9-1-1 at home. They have 49 points, I think, which leads the whole shebang. They have the most points in Major League Soccer, and are way ahead of the rest of the Eastern Conference, which is Orlando, Nashville, all those teams. But New England looks like the real deal. They're probably the best team in MLS right now. Anyway, but there's your top 7 from the Eastern Conference. I don't know why the line is at 7. I think you have to play in to get that 8th spot. anymore. I'm not sure exactly how it works. The MLS did some crazy rule changes last year. There's your top. See, there's your Western Conference, and there's Seattle leading, but it's much closer. You see between Seattle, Kansas City, Colorado. But there's Portland at 6. They're tied with Salt Lake, so they're tied, but they're only a point ahead of being in ninth or 10th, 2 points out of 10. They're in dangerous spot. They need to win some games. They're not outscoring any opponents. Their goal differential's a -10 at this point in the season, and it's the worst in the Western Conference.
Right.
And yet they're still right there in a playoff position. So that's why we say they're capable of beating anybody. They just don't. Anyway, but we'll see as the season goes on. There's still another 9 or 10 games. 9, 8, 9, 8. I don't remember. They play 30-something. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If you're a Timbers fan, don't give up hope. They'll make the playoffs like they do every year and get smoked by somebody. So I think that's what we feel.
I would agree. Yeah.
Halfway through the show, segment of the show brought to you by Boss Kitty Hand-Dyed Yarns. Be sure to tune in to BossKittyLive.com at 6 p.m. every Monday and Wednesday and 11 a.m. every other Sunday for fun fiber games, tutorials, and the occasional F-bomb. They do get a little, let's see, PG-13 on that show. If you've watched it,
definitely more than a little.
Go on the BossKittyShop.com website, get your DK and fingering weight yarns as well as stitch and progress markers. If you're looking for a gift, get them the Boss Kitty Shop virtual gift card. Let them pick it out themselves. That's Boss Kitty Hand-Dyed Yarns. Yarn so boss, you'll knit your pants. So, second half of the show is NFL, and that's all we're going to talk about. So we're
That's all we need to talk about.
We're talking about some cuts, some NFL cuts, and not a lot that happened, but some of the big names that were cut on Sunday were cut. Let me back up. Some of the big names played on Sunday, right? Bigger names in the game that hadn't played all year. Played it in Game 3, so just to kind of, I guess the rust off, I guess. I don't know, but some of them didn't. But the roster cuts are next. So they played their 3 preseason games. Then they had till Tuesday to get down to 53 men, which they did. Some of the notable names, Cam Newton was the big one, right? Not quite sure what the deal is with Cam Newton, if he's just not capable. If this was, we're going to talk about this right now, if it was vaccination related, is it money, salary cap issue for keeping him and paying him? I don't know what the deal was, but the vaccination issue is intriguing. I heard today the procedure for an unvaccinated player, if they are found to be in close contact with anybody, they're out for 5 days immediately. It's a 5-day quarantine immediately. So what that means is if you kept Mac Jones as your starting quarterback and Cam Newton was number 2 and he's unvaccinated and Mac comes down with COVID, it means he'll be out for the game on Sunday, but now probably Cam Newton too because they share a film room and a locker room. The quarterbacks are in close contact with each other, so automatically he'd be out 5 days too.
Well, but it's also pending how many negative tests you can provide.
It's true, but I think
that's still part of their whole thing is if you test positive. So I'm assuming somebody tests positive, then somebody else just got to test negative twice and you're good.
I was under the impression what I read today was that if you're unvaccinated, you're immediately out 5 days, no matter what.
I read that same thing too, but I read it as unless you can provide multiple negative tests.
Well, yeah.
So that could change things a lot. Yeah.
The other question is it's not cheap to pay for all this stuff.
No.
So unvaccinated players are costing your team more money, just because you have to keep getting them tested.
True.
But I don't.
Not like the testing is a costly issue. I think how much are the tests at a home test? Do you know?
I do not know. I do not know the answer.
I had a friend who sent me pictures of he actually tested positive. I haven't seen him in a couple months, so no worries. But he tested positive. But he sent me pictures of his at home test, and I was like, holy crap, they have those now. And so I could guess that they're probably kind of expensive, but I bet they're not putting out an NFL team. I bet they have all the tests they could possibly want. So they'll test players all times of day and night.
And it seems weird because I can go over here in Yakima and get a free test, just free. Just drive. It's a drive-up thing too, literally. And they'll do a swab and they'll send you the results. They'll email you or text you the results. And I'm thinking, well, if I can get that done for free, then why can't they get it done for free? Anyway, someone's paying for something. But anyway, whatever.
It's the whole thing.
So, I don't know if Cam Newton's cut was because of COVID. I don't know if it was maybe they don't want to pay him to be a number 2 quarterback. Um, maybe he's just not good enough anymore. Maybe he's just not the guy that we think he is, but someone's going to pick him up.
Yeah.
For sure, as a former NFL MVP, right? So someone's going to pick him up. I don't know. What do you think of the Cam Newton cut? Did you read anything into it? Because Jarrett Stidham is on the pup list, right? And
Yeah.
and they dropped Brian Hoyer, which means their number 1 quarterback, Mac Jones, okay, rookie, hasn't thrown an NFL pass. Their number 2 is Jarrett Stidham, who's on the pup list. He's going to be out for 6 weeks at a minimum.
Yeah.
So they got to go get someone else.
Yeah, they're gonna go pick up some no-name, not Colin Kaepernick quarterback, and
No.
and put him in that spot.
Oh my God.
I think it was so I think part of it's one of the things that we talked about the other day when it happened, which is that it was a financial thing. This guy costs a lot of money, and if we're not going to start him, why are we holding on to his paychecks? Like if we can cut him and it costs us minimal to the cap hit, let's just do that. If it costs less than what it'll cost to pay him out for the season, let's just do that. So I think that's part of it. I think the other part of it is that maybe he isn't lining up with the Patriot way or something like that. People have talked about that all last season. Is he vibing with Coach Belichick? Is that working out? And maybe it's not. But also, maybe he's just not that great. That's the other aspect of this. That's the other part that maybe Mac Jones, as a as a rookie QB, is more developed and more talented than, or equally for less money, as Cam Newton. So I think I'm not going to read into it too much about like the vaccination stuff. I'm not going to read into it too much about the COVID sitting that he had to do for like 5 days or whatever it was. I'm not going to read into that stuff, but I think it's mostly financial, and then to some degree partially just talent. We can get if we get 6 wins out of Mac Jones, great. That's what we got out of Cam. So let's just do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know how they determined that. Obviously they thought Mac Jones was going to quarterback to keep him, be the starting quarterback, and that's
Really
great.
did.
That's fine, and go with that. If that's what you feel, that's what you got to do. I'm not certain that. How do I want to say that? I'm not certain it's the best option to have, a couple of unproven guys. Jarrett Stidham's played a little bit, but he's not exactly that guy. So you're going to have to go out and get another guy. Well, who are you going to find? Because who's going to be better? I mean, who are you going to find that's better that got cut? There aren't many. I mean, there are a whole bunch of quarterbacks that got cut. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
But there are none of them you could point to and go, oh, yeah, that guy. That's the guy. That's who you're going to go get. So unless they're going to trade for someone, which I don't see that being a thing either. You don't trade for a number 2 normally. You pick one up somewhere. Anyway, I don't know how it's going to work. Jake Fromm of the Buffalo Bills was cut a year after being drafted in the 5th round. He's done. Clearly fighting with Josh Allen for,
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but we all kind of knew Jake Fromm was another one of these SEC quarterbacks who jumped to the league and just, poof, go away.
The Jets traded tight end Chris Herndon to Minnesota, and then they cut Ryan Griffin, Daniel Brown, and Kenny Yeboah, leaving them with 2 tight ends. But it is fueling speculation across the league that they may be trading for Zach Ertz at some point.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
That's the rumor around the watermill, is that Zach Ertz.
That's the word around the water cooler?
Yeah, that Zach Ertz is headed to the Jets at some point in time during this year. I don't know if that's true, but there was a lot of offseason talk about him being trade bait also. Good tight end. He's still, I think it would be a great thing for a young quarterback, Zach Wilson, to have, an experienced tight end like that. Dependable guy. Anyway, I don't know. But I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's just the rumor. Baltimore cut Trace McSorley, leaving Tyler Huntley as the only quarterback behind Lamar Jackson, who's unvaccinated. I don't know. Tyler Huntley is, from Utah, has similar skills to Lamar Jackson, just not nearly as good.
Yeah.
Brett Hundley, not Tyler Huntley, but Brett Hundley is out in Indy. He, after playing for Green Bay, Seattle, Arizona, and Indianapolis, he was cut. The Jaguars waived or released 9 wide receivers.
Ooh.
How many wide receivers are out there in the NFL? Because they waived 9 of them or cut 9 of them, and they still have 4 or 5. You know they do. You got to go
Well,
5.
yeah, their depth chart's probably 6 deep.
Yes.
Wide receiver one, or sorry, wide receiver one, wide receiver two, wide receiver three, usually three, three, and two. So it's 8 deep.
That's weird.
Yeah, if they do a wide receiver three, if they actually use a slot spot, which I think in an Urban Meyer offense they absolutely do.
I thought it was weird. So.
Just saying, yeah. No, they had a bunch of them. They invited a bunch of guys, but that's because they're doing the Joey Harrington thing, where they want to bring in a bunch of talent and see who's gonna gel with Joey. But they're not looking at the line. They're still not looking at the line. Trevor Lawrence is gonna get sacked 15 times this year because they're not looking at the line.
You think so?
I think he's gonna have a rough year.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not. I was excited. I was very excited, and then I watched preseason games, and I was like, man, I'm just not sure. Just not sure. You know, Justin Fields has excelled in preseason. Zach Wilson has excelled in preseason. Lawrence, he's been okay.
Former Oregon Duck Hunter Campmoyer was released by the Chargers. Kind of saw that coming, but he was an undrafted free agent anyway. So, but he also, here's more notably, the Chargers cut Michael Badgley, the Money Badger. After he made only 24 of 33 field goal attempts in 2020 and was kind of being booed by most everyone.
Yeah, I think I booed him once or twice.
Yeah, he missed.
But I did it from home, people.
Right.
Wasn't yelling at him in the stands at a Chargers game.
No, we do that right in front of the Money Badger. We don't do that.
Right.
Wide receiver Travis Fulgham, waived by the Philadelphia Eagles. He was the leading receiver last year with 539 yards for the Eagles, and they cut him.
That's a team that's got receiver issues.
I don't know what's with the Eagles. It's like they've been since they went to the Super Bowl. They've been rebuilding ever since, and it's not.
Yeah.
None of it's any good.
Well, just, and this is a personal opinion, just saying here.
Yeah.
So they have Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly ingrains this system in a bunch of players' heads, acquires, players come in, things like that. Gets this whole team going. Players hate him, so they fire him. And then the next year they go to a Super Bowl and win.
Yeah.
With Chip's players and Chip's system and Chip's nutritionists and all of that stuff. It was all Chip Kelly that did it. And then who'd have thunk that Peterson would run that team into the ground?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a hot take, but it's actually a pretty cold take. I've heard some other people say it on talk radio lately.
Okay. Well, it's okay. Yeah. We can share that information here.
Yeah. That's fair.
The Bears cut cornerbacks Desmond Trufant, Artie Burns, and Thomas Graham Jr. Although they are likely to re-sign Graham to the practice squad, and that's what's going to happen with a lot of these players that get cut. You'll see that they have to get down to this 53-man roster, and then they'll fill out the practice squad with a lot of the same players that just got rid of. They just, there's that deadline. You got to do it by that time.
Yep.
And there's still transactions being done. As we found out, Royce Freeman's been released. From the
what
Broncos,
a sad day.
Right? So it's...
I never even got my Freeman jersey.
Well, that's on you. He's been there a little while.
I know. He's been there for like 4 years. I just haven't done it the whole time. Because they never sold him. You had to get the custom one.
You absolutely could have gone and done it.
Yeah, it's on me.
Probably still can. They'll be on sale now.
It's probably true.
Let's talk about injuries. And let's talk about how injuries... We were talking about this in our pre-show meeting. They're going to play a role in the season, and they always do. And we're talking about a few from last year that were, we saw Dak Prescott go down week 5 against the Giants in a gruesome ankle injury. The Niners had quarterback Garoppolo, running back Mostert, Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman.
You actually put the picture in there?
Oh, yeah. George Kittle. I know, right? George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas. All those players got hurt at some point in time last year for the Niners. They were so bad only because they couldn't hardly field a team. It was literally a second-team, almost the whole team at some point. And I thought they actually did pretty well considering how many injuries they had. But that affects your whole outcome. There's no way they were going to be competitive.
That team was competing for the West.
Yeah, but there was no way
riding on a second string, riding on donuts.
There was no way they were gonna. They were hampered quite a bit. Had they been all healthy, that team was.
It kind of scares you, right?
Was way better. way better than everybody else. I think. I don't know.
Like, you think that, this is their second string, and they're still a 9-10 win team.
Yeah.
How good is their first string? Holy
Right.
crap.
Yeah. Had everybody been healthy all year, they would have. They're
Yeah.
a different team. Christian McCaffrey, one of those guys. He's that Swiss Army knife for the Panthers. Suffered an ankle and a shoulder injury 2 different times. He got injured and was out for, I don't know, I think it was 10 games of a 16-game season. 2 different injuries. That's a lot. That's, he's that guy. And when this ties into fantasy football when we talk about these things. These are guys that Dak Prescott, Christian McCaffrey, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, these guys producing points. These are point producers in your fantasy league, and you drafted them going, oh yeah, I got George Kittle, I got the best tight end in the NFL, and then he goes down, and your season's pretty much toast because the rest of the year you're searching for a tight end every week to pick up, right? Because the one you picked up was terrible.
Right.
Which is kind of how it works out. But anyway, Christian McCaffrey, one of those guys. I mean, probably might be the best point getter in fantasy football, and he was out. And you couldn't rely on that. Joe Burrow. Last thing everybody saw was him, with a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Tore his ACL, MCL, partial tears to his PCL and meniscus
That's pretty gross.
in week 10 against Washington. It'll be interesting to see how he comes back this year because that's a major injury. It's not just an ACL. You tore almost everything in your knee. So it will
Not
be
good.
interesting to see how he comes back and if he can perform at a high level. Cincinnati's in a tough division. Saquon Barkley had season-ending ACL tear in week 2 against Chicago. Another big point producer, 1,000-yard rusher, is going to get 9 or 10 touchdowns. He's a guy that you rely on. Cleveland wide receiver OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., tore his ACL in week 7 against the Bengals. And how did he do it? Chasing down an interception return.
Yeah, that's a dumb way to get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you want your players to hustle. You want them to do those things. It's an unfortunate consequence of doing it, but it's a dumb way to get hurt. When that happens, you're like, what the heck?
And you appreciate the hustle. Absolutely.
Right. I want you to try and get this tackle. I want you to stop him from a big return. That's what we teach you to do. However, what the heck?
I know. It's,
You just throw your clipboard. You go, I don't know.
be careful what you ask for. What I want you to do is hustle. Oh, he did, and then he got hurt. But you just don't know who it's going to be. You don't know which guy. That one guy makes up a whole season. Not that Dak Prescott was the whole season for the Cowboys, but kinda.
Yeah.
But kinda. I mean,
What kinda?
yeah, and Saquon Barkley the same way. Kinda. That was a big deal. They are a different team, even with a new quarterback, and they're a different team with Barkley on the field than they were last year. They were kind of terrible, but everybody in the NFC East was kind of terrible. So, but you just don't know who's going to be the Niners too. Who's going to have all those injuries? There's going to be at least one team that has multiple injuries and can't field a team, their number one team at any point in time, and they just fall out. J.K. Dobbins is out this year already.
Oh, that's huge. That is
for
huge.
Baltimore. Yep. Sam Ellinger is out several weeks in Indy. Michael Thomas is on the PUP list already. That means 6 weeks minimum. He's out in New Orleans. Green Bay's All-Pro tackle David Bakhtiari is on the PUP list. He's going to miss 6 weeks. New England cornerback Stephon Gilmore also on the PUP list. He's got 25 career interceptions in 9 seasons. Kansas City offensive lineman Kyle Long, former Duck, also hurt. But he was coming back from an injury, and maybe he came back a little too soon and got injured again. So we'll see what his status is. But the injuries are going to pile up, and J.K. Dobbins is a gigantic injury for Baltimore. I mean, it changes the way your team looks now because you had this guy and he was going to be a dynamic running back, and now you got to go find another one, which you can't really just go get. So you're going to rely more on the pass. Baltimore's not that team necessarily, but
yeah,
maybe. So I don't know. It's going to be exciting. I think the injuries play a gigantic role in shaping the NFL season, and those teams that can go relatively injury-free. I'm looking at you, Kansas City and Tampa Bay. Pretty much control everything. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Jameis Winston is now going to be the starting quarterback in New Orleans and not have Michael Thomas to throw to. Their receiving core looks weird. All the names we read off the names earlier. I don't know what you're going to get out of that. I know that you're going to get Alvin Kamara. Heaven forbid he go down. And then what
If
do you
he
have?
goes down, that team's season,
Yeah,
like, just go ahead, sell your season
that's a
tickets, move along.
that's a 5-win team if he goes down. I'm
It's
just saying,
huge. It's
maybe,
huge.
right?
And
For
that's obviously a what if, but
oh yeah, no,
still.
it's not. It may not happen, But
But
somebody
he's
like that.
gotten hurt
Yeah,
both last 2 years, like for little stretches, and those little stretches have been tough for the team.
somebody like that is going to get hurt this year. That's what we're
Yeah.
saying. Is that somebody that's going to happen, and it hasn't really happened yet. J.K. Dobbins is probably the biggest one, but it's going to happen. Some gigantic quarterback name is going to get hurt,
It's
and
crazy that we're talking about J.K. Dobbins. He's in his second year, and he had a good year as a backup.
yeah,
And now we're talking about how impactful his loss is. That's how good we all think he was going to be.
yeah, he's going to be
Yeah.
one of those really really good runners, special type of
Yeah.
player. I don't know. I will see.
He looked pretty incredible.
He did. So week one. Here's week one schedule, by the way, for the NFL, which starts on Thursday night, the 9th, a week from tomorrow, with the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to be a good game to watch. It's going to be interesting to see if Dak's back, if he's healthy. Are the Cowboys defense, have they, gotten better because they were terrible last year?
They were not good.
They were not good, and you need to be good defensively against a Tom Brady team. So, but anyway, there's a lot of good games on here. Which one of these games, if you're looking at this schedule, which one of these games is one of those games where the one you're going to make sure that you watch?
The one I'm going to make sure I have time to watch is Tampa Bay Dallas, because it has 1,000 storylines going, right? Tom Brady, another off season. Is he still good? Is he old? Like, what's going on? How did the summer treat Tom Brady? Dak Prescott, is he coming back from the injury? Is he fully back? Are they rushing him back? They have COVID issues going around down there. So, like, I'm excited to see that game and all of those little storylines kind of come together. So I think week one, other than my Broncos, obviously, I think week one, that is my absolute must-watch game. And it's prime time, so it makes sense.
I have two for you. I'm going to give you an early game and a late game.
You can't give me two. Give me your number one, then I'll give you my two.
Well, I got
then
an
you give me
early.
your two.
I can watch both of them. There's an early game and a late game. I can watch two,
I
right?
didn't even think about it that way. You said one, I picked one.
Okay. If I could only watch one, I want to watch Green Bay, New Orleans.
That's gonna be a good one.
It's got playoff implications right off the bat.
Doozy, yeah.
It's got tiebreaker type implications at the end of the season probably, because both those teams will be vying for a division title. The Saints actually won the division last year over Tampa Bay. Anyway, I don't know. The other one that I'm liking right now is Arizona, Tennessee.
I was thinking that same thing. Arizona just added a couple line pieces, including J.J. Watt. They have Derrick Henry. Is that going to be a thing? Like, is that a storyline to watch? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Is Julio back?
Is Tennessee going to recover from all the COVID issues? They got like 9 or 10 guys on the COVID protocol right now.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel doesn't care much about that. None.
Well, I mean, but if it keeps spreading, what is that going to? I mean, we still have.
It's going to be a forfeit.
We still have a week. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to happen. That's what they've already said. The NFL said this year. I think we could do better on Monday Night Football in Week 1 than Baltimore and Vegas.
Yeah,
I don't like that game. I'm disappointed in that pick. Week 1. Week 1 needs to be a. I would much rather see the Arizona Tennessee game or the Green Bay New Orleans. Why is Green Bay New Orleans not Monday night? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I feel like they tend to do some interesting things. Got to put some people in some spots and some people in other spots, and sometimes we get shafted as fans with maybe not the best game.
Yeah,
there's 3 or 4 games you could put in these primetime spots, but that's all gonna roll into my my Parker's minute at the end.
That Cleveland Kansas City game too is gonna be good. That's a rematch of last year's playoff game. Kansas City won. I think it was 22-17. It was close. It was a low scoring game.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Cleveland is made any strides.
Baker the guy?
I still don't think Baker's the guy. I think their defense is awesome. I think that they are a very, very good football team with a mediocre quarterback. And if they had a real quarterback, one of those other top 5 or 6 or 7 quarterbacks in terms of what I feel are top 5 or 6 or 7, they'd be right there. They'd be as good as Kansas City. Got the running game. They got the defense. If they had a quarterback that wasn't just panicky and threw the ball away all the time,
all the time.
That's what I feel like. I don't know. I could be wrong. Excuse me, Baker. You win a championship, I'll apologize. There you go.
Shots fired.
Anyway, So let's. You know what? Now that we've talked about it, you need a minute. So in a segment that we call "Your Mother Thinks I Talk Too Much," Parker has the floor. We're going to talk about whatever he wants to talk about for the next minute or so. Take it away, Parker.
In the theme of the NFL, we're going to talk about how everyone likes to, and pardon my French, but it does say that we are an adult show. But in the theme of the NFL, what's it called? Everyone likes to shit on Thursday Night Football. All right. And even a lot of people lately have been shitting on Monday Night Football. And I think that's a problem, right? People wait for Sundays, they wait through Sunday, and then they just bitch and complain about the quality of football on Thursday and Monday night. I don't care. Those are great nights for watching football. Put on the two worst teams. It doesn't matter to me. It's a good day to watch football. We went through a whole year without not worried if we were going to get football for most of it. And then when we got it, we got watered down college and NFL versions. We just didn't know. It wasn't great. I'm never second guessing it again. I'll take Thursday night. I'll take Sunday. I'll take Monday. If you want to put it on a Wednesday afternoon, I'll find time. Quit bitching about watching good sports. There's my minute.
So did you watch UAB and Jacksonville State just now? I mean, you watching the finish of that one? No.
I'm on the podcast here. I can't
I'm
see that.
just saying.
Yeah.
I
don't have
a
I don't have
TV.
the office set up like you've got. That's like crazy good.
I've got a couple screens. Anyway, but what I'm saying is those kind of games that come on. College football's a little different, but if it was an NFL game on right now, I'd be watching it. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You'd hear me be distracted.
Just turn it
Yeah,
on.
just
It's not the end of the world.
Just watch the football. I know it could be two terrible teams, but you never know what you're going to see, and you never know when the best game of the season is going to be. But yeah, even a bad NFL game is better than a lot of other things you could be watching.
True.
So yeah, just tune it in. You're right. You're right. Thursdays and Mondays, but I mean, I'm just complaining about Monday because this is week one. You had all off season to prepare. You knew the games that were scheduled week one, and this is the one you picked. Well, it could have been better. I mean, I'm not overly concerned about either Baltimore or the Raiders, especially not the Raiders. So
Yeah, but is this a Raiders home game?
yeah, that's the reason. And
There it
reason.
is.
That's the reason.
The Raiders' first regular season game with fans in the new stadium.
That's why.
They're playing a prolific team in Baltimore. AFC game. Let's go.
And you know where
I'm on board.
you know where the Super Bowl is this year.
Is it in Vegas?
It's at SoFi. It's in LA.
Oh, it's
So-
at that new stadium. One of those new
Right.
stadiums. Yeah.
Exactly. So
That stadium is gorgeous.
yeah, those things. I mean, well, if you got an extra $4 billion laying around, you could buy one of those.
I mean, what I'm saying is like you can say what you want about how how the Raider Stadium looks, the creepy looking, puck in the middle of Arizona,
Yeah.
or it's all black and everything
The
like
Death
that. It's
Star.
kind of cool. Looks like the Death Star. Yeah, it's kind of neat. But SoFi Stadium just is open. There's lots of natural light. It's just gorgeous looking. The field looks like a crisp green.
Do you think
It's fake, but it looks that way.
do you think any of that's going to help Matt Stafford? Do you think that the Rams and Matt Stafford have any more of a chance than the Rams and Jared Goff did last year?
Yes, Matt Stafford's a better passer than Jared Goff is. He's not a better runner, but Jared Goff oftentimes just took the sack, very Peyton Manning-esque. So I think that when those 200 yards a year that Jared Goff put up, yeah, cut that in half for Matt Stafford. It's only going to be like 100. But he's also going to complete 6% more passes. He's also going to throw 2 less, maybe 3 less interceptions, and maybe 4 or 5 more touchdowns. A team like that with 4 or 5 more touchdowns wins 2 or 3 more games.
Yeah.
Like they're that competitive. So yeah, I would say that they're better off.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Now, because I promised in a post earlier today that we would tell people who was going to win the Super Bowl. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? Who have you got right now?
Gosh, it's funny because I read that post earlier and I liked it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna think about this for a while. I immediately kept working and didn't think about it.
Right.
But I think that you'd be stupid not to take Tampa Bay or
Nope. No.
Yep.
No,
Tampa Bay or Kansas City.
Okay.
I think that until those two teams prove that they can't handle their schedule, you gotta go with one of them. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City. I'm just gonna pick youth over the age there, and I'm gonna say that was a one-time thing, and Tampa Bay kind of came together. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Kansas City.
Okay. I like that.
I'll put $5 on it.
$5. Let me write that down. I'm putting in
$5.
$5.
5 big ones.
We'll have someone hold that here this weekend. I. How do we determine the winner though? If neither one of the teams that we pick wins, who wins that money?
Well,
It just goes
if
back.
neither
It's
one
a
wins,
push.
so the second tier will be conference.
Whoever gets
Was it
closest.
AFC or NFC?
Whoever gets closest.
Right, whoever gets closest. If we both pick an AFC, if we both
All
pick an
right.
NFC, then you move on to the third one, division, north, south, east, west. Or
Okay.
who is closer to that division?
Okay. I like
We'll
it.
have. I'll create a breakdown.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to come up with a way.
Just that way we all
I-
know what's going
I'm-
on.
I'm gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have a couple of teams that I want to say that I really like. One of those is Green Bay. I think that Aaron Rodgers is gonna come out with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove, and he's gonna go dominate.
Yeah.
If the rest of the team around him is good enough to dominate, that's the whole question I have. I don't know for sure, but I think he's ready. The other one I wanna like is the Rams. And
Man, it's so attractive. I thought about that too. It's right in your face.
yeah, and it's there knowing that they were good last year. They were a playoff team last year. If Matthew Stafford is the upgrade that they needed, he might be that guy to push them over the top. He might not be, but it's early, and I kind of want to give him credit and say, yeah, okay, there's a reason why they went out and got you. It's a tough division,
Yeah.
to play in. Arizona, Seattle, San Francisco, if they're healthy. Ugh. I'm going to go with the Rams. How about that?
It's a good call. It's a good call.
We're going to put
Aaron
$5 on
Donald,
it.
that new squad or the
Yeah.
new quarterback under center. Yeah,
I
I'm
like
on board.
I like their defense. They're good enough. I like the Rams. So okay, there we go. Kansas City and the Rams. I'm going to say the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl this year. And Parker says Kansas City. We'll see who's closer.
I'm actually kind of hoping that is the Super Bowl.
Oh, wouldn't that
this
be
year.
great?
Right? Yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be
great.
awesome.
That'd be
Because that
awesome.
will have meant that that Los Angeles defeated Tampa Bay probably
Yeah.
somewhere along the way, which we're all on board with.
And the Rams will be playing at home in the Super Bowl, just like Tampa Bay did last year. Anyway,
Wait. Oh, that's right. 2 years in a row? No,
Yeah.
never gonna happen. Never gonna allow it.
well,
The
okay.
league is
the
not
legal
gonna let it
step
happen.
in. The legal step
the
in. and
legal buzz down to somene's headset and say, holding on this next
throw
one
a
for
flag
sure.
on that right now.
Yep. Let's eliminate them from playoff contention.
Let's get the trivia question answer in because we didn't do that. Trivia question brought to you by Stave and Stone Wine Estates in Hood River. The winery at the Vineyard, 3827 Fletcher Drive, is open, and you can read it right here on the thing. Open daily, 12 to 6, right? For indoor and outdoor seating, they got a new wine garden outside. Their downtown tasting room, excuse me, will be open starting tomorrow from 12 to 6, Thursday through Sunday. But you can email for reservations, and it literally is reservations at staveandstone.com to reserve your spot. Call them if you need more information. The winery at the Vineyard is 541-946-3750. That's 541-WINE-750. And the downtown tasting room is 541-490-9461. That's Stave and Stone, wines with personality. Trivia question was, if you remember it, was Little League World Series. There have been 14 U.S. states that have won the Little League World Series title. Only 5 of those states lie west of the Mississippi River. Can you name all 5? Parker?
I can.
Okay, well, give them to me.
All right. Hold on. I wrote them down. All right. So we got Texas.
Texas is one.
Big old state. Probably a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Let's go with Cali.
California is 2. Yep.
Big old state. A lot of teams.
Yep.
So I know Hawaii won it back in the day.
That's 3.
They were a huge deal when they won it.
They've won it 3
I
times.
also know that Washington has won.
The state of Washington has won one. That's correct.
Single one.
That's 4.
And the last one, I'm going to guess Arizona.
Oh, you were so close.
Was I?
You're literally so close. You're as close
New
as you
Mexico?
can get. It's New Mexico.
It can't be to the left. It's got to be to the right. Damn it.
It's New Mexico. It's New Mexico won it back in the 50s. I think it was a Roswell thing. I think they're Roswell kids. It was from Roswell, New Mexico. Literally, the team was from Roswell, New Mexico, and it had something to do with an alien landing. I don't know. But yeah, those are
right there.
Those are the 5 teams west of the Mississippi, 5 states that have produced champions. And I forgot to change the slide, but California's won 7 Little League World Series titles.
I didn't
Hawaii,
think it'd be that. I knew they'd probably won a couple. I didn't think it would be that many.
Hawaii 3, Texas 2, New Mexico 1, and Washington 1. So that's your answer. And if you if you're looking, these are the pictures of those teams. Some of those teams anyway, not all the teams because I couldn't show them all, but there's your 2018 Hawaii team if you're looking at it. But anyway, yeah, no. So it was interesting to see. Most of them are from the East. Most of the championships are from the California's won more than any other state, but there are, I want to say it's Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania have all won 4. Right? So there's a lot of them from that area. Well, Pennsylvania started the first 2 College Worlds or Little League World Series. The first one just had teams from Pennsylvania, so they were assured of 1. So yeah, the winner was actually from Williamsport. So, but anyway, so there you go. There's your trivia question. Are you pretty excited? I know, right? Everybody
Yeah.
is.
I'm kind of pissed that I didn't get the one right, but I got all the rest of them
You
right.
did.
So I'm
You
feeling
did
pretty
great.
good.
That was a really good guess.
Texas and Cali were good guesses because they're massive states that produce a lot of sport talent. So
Correct.
that was fair. I had heard Hawaii and I'd heard Washington in this year's Little League. They mentioned them at different times, but the other one I did not know.
When I heard this question and I heard it, I actually read this question and I was trying to answer it. I actually guessed 4 of them. I knew the 4 of them, like you did, and I guessed Colorado. Thinking that was a big state, Denver, blah, blah, blah. Blah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can see that.
Not Colorado. And the altitude, they hit more home runs. I don't know.
Ball flies farther, something like that.
They didn't play there, though. So, anyway. So, here, this is the slide everyone wants to see, right?
Oh,
anybody who's anybody, this is the slide. And it's coming. And soon.
Did they post that?
Yes, EA Sports.
When did they post that?
It's been a while. It actually has been out a little while. I can't remember exactly when they posted. It's not
oh
like
my
today.
God, is that? I'm literally spamming Google right now.
It's coming. They are in the works producing a new college football. If you like that sort of thing, if you're a video game.
EA's return to college football starts with a special event in Madden. They're gonna have a Madden event that ties over. Oh my goodness,
there
let's
you
go.
Right? It's pretty exciting. I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
If you're an old NCAA video game junkie, man, that is the thing.
I cannot wait. I am so jacked. I play Madden all the time, but I'll stop buying Madden if college football comes back out.
Right. Correct. Yeah, the only reason why you're buying Madden right now is because there is no college football.
Oh, I love that they tagged it with, for those who never stop believing, college football's coming back.
That's all we have. I'm glad I could make your day.
Yeah, it was great.
All we have for today. We're going to be back next week with more college football, NFL news, because they haven't started yet. Next week will be just before the kickoff, so we'll give you the latest in terms of who's in, who's out, injury-wise, how that might affect the games for week 1. But anyway, NFL news, MLB, we'll talk about it, give you an update. We'll give you an update on Major League Soccer, Formula 1, and their race in the Netherlands, and so much more. Whatever I can find. I don't know what I'll dig up next week, but we're going to dig up something fun next week. And
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, be ready for that. But anyway, we are live streaming on YouTube every weekend. We're on Twitter at Lamm Sports. We're on Facebook. Just type in the Best Lamm Sports Show into that search bar. You'll find us, right? You can email us, lammsports@gmail.com. And you can always go to our website, www.lammsports.com. The trivia question, past shows, all that stuff's on there. Leave us a message. Get on the mailing list. Do whatever you got to do. But we'd like to hear from you. Whatever you want to hear, whatever you want to see. It'd be fantastic if you'd talk to us. I want to thank our sponsors, The Range in Yakima, Boss Kitty Yarns, and Stavenstone Wine Estates in Hood River. This has been a Brain Rock production, division of Lonely Tree Media, LLC.